Om Jnanatimanandasya Jnanana Salakya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapanantikam. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So very soon Radhastami is approaching, and we are beginning to think about Srimati Radharani, whose pure devotion is unrivaled. No one can display as much love for Krishna as she does, and no one can serve Krishna in the way she can. And therefore, we aspire to be Gopi Bhartapada Kamalayur Dasana 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 Das. We aspire to be the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the Gopis, who are the servants of Srimati Radharani. And in this way, we approach this upcoming Radhastami in a mood of devotional service. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes in his little book, the Prema Samputa, and there he describes a pastime, and the pastime is basically that after her marriage, Srimati Radharani had a hard time. She lived in Yavat, and Yavat is not the place where she grew up. It is the house of her in-laws. So there she was practically like a prisoner. There was like they were constantly surveying her because they didn't trust her. So it was very difficult. But once Jyotila was not present, nor was her daughter Kotila, the one with the breast like string beans and the belly like a watermelon, who, due to her extreme beauty, is the only gopi in Vrindavan who is not attracted by Krishna. That is Kotila. What I'm quoting now is directly from the Nectar of Devotion, if you had any doubts about the source. So, anyway, what can be said? So, Jyotila, Kotila absent, and at that time, some extraordinary effulgent personality appeared. Some very celestial lady, a goddess, in the courtyard of the house of Srimati Radharani. Suddenly she was there. So Radharani sent some gopis to meet her and to greet her. But the lady was not replying in any way. So then they thought that was awkward, and they discussed it amongst themselves, and they concluded that she must be in a distressed state of mind and therefore didn't want to speak. So Srimati Radharani went personally, and she went personally to somehow or other pacify the lady and said, look, I understand that something must be burdening your heart, right? But please, you must know that when you speak of what burdens your heart, that will bring great relief. And here you are amongst girls who are like-minded. Therefore, this is a perfect situation for you to open your heart and simply speak of whatever burdens your heart. So then, the goddess spoke. And the goddess said that she indeed was a goddess, one of the demigoddesses. And of course the demigods, they're witnessing everything. They are here and everywhere, and they see what's going on right now. So they were also seeing what was going on in between Radha and Krishna. And this goddess said, it is just too much. It is too much. I cannot tolerate it any longer. And Radharani said, please, please, please tell us, what is it? Then the goddess came out with it, and the goddess said, I cannot tolerate the way Krishna is dealing with you. So you are so dedicated to him, you give him everything, 100% devoted you are. 100. And he, his behavior is just incredible. How can he treat you like that? I cannot tolerate it any longer. And Radharani said, no. You don't understand. You don't understand. Said, as I am always thinking of Krishna, Krishna is always thinking of me. And she said, we are one in thought. We are always one. We're always united. There's no such thing of separation. We are always united. Then the goddess said, my dear Radharani, I understand that you feel like that, but do you think that it's really true? Maybe it's just what you would want it to be, and maybe this is just what you are imagining it to be, but how do you know? You may think of Krishna always, but how do you know that Krishna always thinks of you? The goddess raised a good question. But Radharani had no doubt at all. Then the goddess said, I just can't believe it. She said, but I will only believe it if somehow or other you think of Krishna and you think about bringing him here. And since you are one in thought, then he should know and then he should come. So Radharani said, okay, I can do that. She closed her eyes in meditation and meditated on Krishna, and that Krishna would appear. And then when she opened her eyes, Krishna was there, but the goddess had disappeared. So she asked, where did that goddess go? Oh, she had to go, Krishna said. In this way, somehow or other, Krishna manifested himself, first as a goddess, and then gave up the disguise and manifested himself. And here we see that in the Prema Samputa it is explained how although Radha and Krishna are two, they are one. That same Radha and Krishna now as one personality have appeared as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In that same compassionate mood now, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Radharani is known as the soft-hearted, feminine counterpart of the Lord, and therefore very compassionate. And now Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taken that mood on. One might say that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is golden, but Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I'm not golden at all. I'm not golden. I appear golden because I've touched Srimati Radharani. And therefore I've become golden, but I'm not golden. I am blackish. But in that same mood. Anyway, that is our goal, to always be one in thought with Krishna. One of the symptoms of surrender in devotional service is to have no other interest than the interest of Krishna. So that's what it means, pure devotional service. That's what it means to be one in thought. So that is our meditation this week, to just come to that point. Of course, we cannot, that's for sure. Right? Our thoughts are not always aligned with Krishna, what to speak of our actions. But anyway, the meditation is there, and we can begin that meditation. We can begin to think about pure devotional service. Anukulyasya sankalpa, to accept whatever is favorable for devotional service. Pratikulyasya varjanam, to reject whatever is unfavorable for devotional service. Raksisya titi visvaso, to have full faith that Krishna will always protect us. Goptritve varnam tata, that whatever we need, he will provide. And in this way, to surrender to Krishna and to somehow or other dedicate ourselves. It remains our goal. It has nothing to do with our external life. We can work in a job, doesn't matter really. Okay, of course we avoid sinful activity in our profession, in our private life and so on, but otherwise, externally it doesn't really matter. Many personalities were pure devotees. In the Krishna book, there's an interesting episode where two great personalities were there, King Bahulaswa and the Brahmana Shrutadev. And then Krishna went to meet the king. So when the king, before the king heard Krishna was coming, Brahmana heard Krishna was coming. So the king made a plan. Said, when Krishna appears, I will offer him a royal reception. I will offer him beautiful garlands, then I will seat him on a golden throne, and I will offer him cloth, I will offer him gifts, I will offer him many things, right? Befitting a king. I will treat him like that. The king was thinking. The Brahmana was thinking, when the Lord appears, I will offer my obeisances to him, right? With all my heart. And then I will recite prayers in his glorification. And in this way, they thought of what they would do. But when Krishna came, it didn't quite go like that, because when the king saw Krishna, he just immediately fell on the ground and in obeisances, and he forgot to get up. And the Brahmana, when he saw Krishna, he started jumping up and down in ecstasy, and he forgot to pay obeisances. So that seeing Krishna is not like we expect it to be. Seeing Krishna is beyond anything we can imagine. Seeing Krishna is far greater than anything we can possibly think of. Cannot imagine. Krishna is beyond our imagination. Now it is interesting, Sarva Mahagunagan Vaishnava Sarira Krishna Gun Krishna Bhakti Krishna Gun Sakya Sanchare, that all the great qualities of Krishna manifest in the body of a Vaishnava. And when Srila Prabhupada came, sometimes the same thing would happen. Prabhupada came to the UK and Tribhuvanat, ACBSB, was chosen to offer Prabhupada a garland. So he stood there with his garland, waiting for Prabhupada to arrive. But then when Prabhupada arrived, it was just such a shock, it was so overwhelming, and everyone in the room just felt like hit by a wall of transcendental effulgence, and they lost their composure, and everyone just fell on the ground. Tribhuvanat also. And Prabhupada walked past, and that was it. By the time he got back up, he had his garland, and he stood there with it. And he missed the opportunity, and everyone was in between, and he had to sort of fight his way through the crowd to make it to Prabhupada with the garland. So in this way, the pure devotee begins to develop the extraordinary qualities of Krishna. So how can one understand a pure devotee? A pure devotee is no longer like an ordinary conditioned soul, with the same, kind of half miserable, half bored expression on the face, like full with lines of grief and anxiety that show the years of a life where we have of being unfulfilled. What to do? But the pure devotees are different. They are effulgence. We see many classical paintings of saints, and they have the halo, they have the light, the effulgence around them. So that effulgence is definitely there. There is a great effulgence, as Krishna has effulgence. But there is much more. The pure devotee is a resident of the spiritual world. Not just sort of thinking like that, I'm a resident of the spiritual world, but so much a resident of the spiritual world that he brings the spiritual world with him. It's like we heard a description of Sankirtan devotees who had come from Germany to meet Srila Prabhupada when he was in the Bhaktivedanta manor during the last visit. And Prabhupada was not well at the time. So everyone in the manor was very quiet because Prabhupada's health was not good. When the German Sankirtan devotees, they were the best Sankirtan devotees, the biggest book distributors of the time. So when they arrived, they made a lot of noise. So all the devotees said, shh, Prabhupada is not well. Quiet, don't make so much noise. They said, no. We are the Sankirtan devotees, and we've come to meet Prabhupada. He said, no, Prabhupada cannot see anyone, he's not well. He said, no, ask him, he will surely want to see us. Because he's always very happy to see the book distributors. So they did ask, and Prabhupada said, oh yes, bring them in. And when they came in, it was as if they were looking over the wall of the spiritual world, right into the spiritual world, as you can look over a garden wall into someone's garden. And they just looked and they saw the entire spiritual world. Because the pure devotee carries the spiritual world with him. That is the nature of the pure devotee. He reveals that spiritual world. He's so much in the spiritual world that in his presence it's a reality. In his presence everything is a reality. Krishna is a reality. When he's not there, then we may think, does Krishna really exist? Are you sure? 100%? Well, I guess he does. I think he does. Do you know? Did you see him? Oh, I don't know, but I can. Then, how do you know? But in the presence of the pure devotees, such questions do not arise. Because the spiritual world is there, and Krishna is there, and whether we can see it or not, one can feel it. One can feel it, and in this way, very convincing, and immediately uplifted. Even just speaking about pure devotees does that, uplifts us, and immediately makes us remember. Remember Krishna. That was what Prabhupada desired. I was in Ljubljana, which is the capital of Slovenia, in Europe, for Janmashtami and Prabhupada's appearance day, with Krishna HH Swami, our professor Swami. So the professor was saying, perhaps the fame of Srila Prabhupada is not as much recognized in the world as it ought to be. And if we raise that question, then we could possibly answer that question by considering that Prabhupada never claimed any fame for himself, but that he was always giving the credit to Krishna, and that he spread the fame of Krishna and not his own fame. All the other Swamis, we know everything about the Swami, nothing about their philosophy, nothing about their teachings, just the Swami. There are many cases like that. But in Prabhupada's case, we know everything about Krishna. We know everything about that the purpose is pure devotional service. About Krishna. But of course, it is true that there should be no limit to the fame of the spiritual world, of the spiritual master. It should spread all over the three worlds, and of course, it's known all over the three worlds. The demigods are more aware. They're not as covered as we are. Besides that they are more powerful than we are, they are also more aware. So they are more aware of the greatness and the qualities of the pure devotee. Here we may or we may not see, but there, oh yes, they all see, they all know. So Prabhupada is very famous in the heavenly regions, very much so, maybe more than on planet Earth. Anyway, it is our business to spread his fame on planet Earth. Because through the pure devotee, Krishna becomes accessible. After all, a pure devotee is a human being. In that sense, like we are. Like Prabhupada describes that when he was a kid, that he used to steal money from his mother's purse to go and watch the Charlie Chaplin movies. Now, I did the same. And I don't know about all of you. Probably you are all angels and you never did such a thing. Well, some of you might, you know. It's not even stealing. It was stealing. I knew it was stealing, and I knew I better not get caught. But what to do? So, yes, such things are endearing in Prabhupada. You know, it's nice. it gives me hope, you know. And you hear such things, say, okay, it's maybe even possible for me. Yes. In this way, I very much we meditate on the pure devotee. Then Giriraj Maharaj, he gave us a book, and the title of the book is Many Moons. And there he's describing the glories of Prabhupada's disciples. And they were also human, but what to say? Like Brahmananda. Brahmananda was Prabhupada's first leader in ISKCON. The very first one who was in charge was Brahmananda. Brahmananda was naturally in charge. He was bigger, tougher than anybody else. Brahmananda, he was fearless. Whatever Prabhupada said, that was it. That had to be done. There's no question of like, can it be done? No. Prabhupada wants it, then it has to be done. There was a man who somehow or other was a bookkeeper in the Macmillan printing company, and Prabhupada had been working on this Bhagavad Gita. So Prabhupada told Brahmananda to go see this man from the Macmillan company, because this man had ordered the Gita. So Prabhupada said, order the Bhagavatam. So he ordered the Bhagavatam. So just go there, bring the Bhagavatam, and then tell him that we also have a manuscript of the Gita. Anyway, when Brahmananda came there, the man was just a bookkeeper. He had nothing to do with publications. So it's like, and so he was just thinking, this is never going to work. And then suddenly, one person came into the accounts office, and the accountant said, "Oh, this is our chief editor. You know, I'd like you to meet our chief editor." And Brahmananda, he just like immediately said, "Chief editor? Oh, I have a manuscript of the Bhagavad Gita." And the man said, "A Bhagavad Gita? I'm looking for a Bhagavad Gita for our religious series." And they were just publishing different books from different religions, and he's looking for a Bhagavad Gita. So then it was printed like this. But things like that are impossible, you know. And if you hear the story, then you hear a story about how Krishna just made it all happen and how it was all possible. But if you would have to go to Macmillan, how would you feel about it with a manuscript from some obscure Indian Swami and you don't have a cracker? You don't even have money for the printing, nothing, but you have to go there and ask them to print it. Good luck. Are you going to do it? Excuse me, Mr. Macmillan, would you like to? Would you even... But Brahmananda, would you have even gone? But Brahmananda went. He went. Whatever Prabhupada said, that was it. That spirit, that is pure devotion. That is also pure devotion. Every pure devotee has a different role to play. Every devotee. Some are the simple, humble servant, and others are taking leading roles. But all pure devotees. What is the difference between the pot washer and the director in Krishna consciousness? All pure devotees. That's the idea. Jayananda was famous because Jayananda took out the garbage. But he was, at the same time, the senior most, he was the temple president, he was the father of all devotees. He was older, he was working, he had a job as a taxi driver, he had money, he would buy everyone clothes, he would just look after them, and he was just the first one up and the last one to bed, and he was just the inspiration for everyone. And Jayananda was just so dedicated, and then he was just personally taking out the garbage, and one man met him, and he was so impressed that he came to the temple and he said, I wanted to meet these devotees, he said, because if the guy that takes out the garbage is so elevated, then what must the others be like? These are all pure devotees. So, a pure devotee makes pure devotees, and Prabhupada made pure devotees. And we see in these examples, that is pure devotional service. And in this way it carries on, and that is our movement. That is our movement. Otherwise, how can we say, we glorify Prabhupada, but he cannot make pure devotees? Oh yes, he made many. And they all did miracles. And they made so many other devotees. And then that purity, maybe we are not 100% pure. Who can say, I am 100% pure? No, maybe we are not 100% pure. But some purity is within us. The gift of purity is within us. And that gift of purity, that is not a thing that just stays there. No. It grows. It grows within us. So that's the amazing thing. Anyone who's touched by this pure gift, it grows. I have one story which is my story, which I like, that I met in Mayapur a personality who was dressed like Salvador Dali. You know Salvador Dali, right? The beret, sort of a mustache, like 2 points like this, and a little beard. And so I saw this person in Mayapur, and I thought, looks like a painter. And then, when I'm in Mayapur, I usually like to really get up early, early, and then a little earlier, right? So that I can really chant and this, that. So I was up really early. Earlier than early, you know what I mean? All the cocks were deep asleep, no one was crowing, nothing, not a sign of morning, nothing, right? So I got up, and then this painter was already up, chanting. It's kind of like, whoa. He was early. And he was chanting, and then he was there in the arati, and I saw him the whole day in the temple going to every arati. That's 7 aratis. Did you ever go to 7 aratis? Did you ever do that? One day. You can say arotik, or you can say arati. Arati is Bengali. In case you doubt, why is he saying arati? Because I'm a Gaudiya. So anyway, he went to all this, and not Bihari, he went to all the 7 arati, right? And then what happened was, so whoever did that? Anybody in the room ever went to all 7? Come on, if you make it to Mongol Arik, you think, I did well today. I said, like, geez, I deserve an extra slice of cake for breakfast. Kind of celebration. Mongol Arik, yes, it's a big thing. No, so all 7, my God, all of them. So that was something. And he's just chanting, and I saw him chanting the whole day. In between the artis, he was chanting. Just whenever I saw him, he was chanting. And the artis. So this was going on for about 5-6 days, whatever it was. So I started to think, who is this person? Who is this? Who is he? Who can do such a thing? Huh? Who can do this? Can you do this? Huh? Getting up earlier than early when there is no sign of daylight in sight, when the cocks are still deep asleep. Can you get up then? Difficult. And chant all day and go to all this. Who is this person? How can he do it? So one day I walked up to him and said, who are you? Are you a demigod? Then he said, maybe. Yeah. The mystery was still not unraveled. But then one day, some days passed, and then he gave me a poem. And in the poem it said, I saw that man and his disciples in 1967. And I saw that they were completely dedicated to him. And I thought I'd better keep a safe distance. And that's what it was. Not safe enough. Yeah, he came too close, that's clear. Too close. Right? I mean, although he stayed at a distance, although he never went up to Prabhupada, he saw him from a distance, and he saw how his disciples were dedicated to him, and he saw how much faith they had in Prabhupada. And he saw how much they had changed. And as a result, he also developed faith in Prabhupada. And it was because that faith in Prabhupada that now, so many years later, he was able to do this. Because through that faith in Prabhupada, he had gotten faith in Krishna and faith in the holy name. And therefore he was able to chant so much and to rise so early and to go to all these artis. Because he really knew, I'm dealing with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Otherwise, how can you go to so many artis? Nice statue there, up there, beautiful. But, you know, also falling asleep. Or thinking about lunch. You know, lunching. Yeah? So in this way, the power of the pure devotee, that even at a distance, he can create faith in the heart of a person. And that faith is what will transform that person completely. He can give faith in Krishna, faith in the holy name, faith that Krishna is really the Supreme Lord, faith that the holy name is really, that one can attain anything through the chanting. There's no limit to what we can attain through the holy name. The holy name will bring us everything, everything. Therefore, if you think about it, you know, we're chanting the holy name and you want everything. All right, could get anything from the holy name. So, dear holy name, give me gold. Dear holy name, don't make me old. Dear holy name, you know. I mean, I can think of things to ask. The holy name, right? Oh yes. But when you really think about it, you realize, yes, but what is gold in comparison to the holy name? And, you know, whoever chants the holy name will never get old, right? Will always be fresh, not stale and old, and only looking back and nothing to look forward to.
Remember? Once your grandfather and I, you were walking
in the street, yes, Grandma, and then one man came.
Yes, one man came.
Grandmother, you've told us this story 83 times. Nothing to look, only looking back. Nothing to look forward to. Only looking back. Life is over now. Nothing happening anymore. Only looking back at the past. But a pure devotee never gets to that point, because there's always something to look forward to. There's Krishna. There's eternity. It doesn't end. No.
Now I am so old that I can barely open my eyes. It doesn't matter if I open them or not. I don't see anything.
Did you get that? You did, huh? They're going to put that on Facebook. Good reflexes. Anyway, I once did this. It had a point. I was making a point. So I didn't just do that. I made a point, right? And they took a picture of it and they blew it up. Hung it on the wall in Victoria Temple. Oh, that was terrible. That was terrible. Okay. You're not going to blow this one up. Thanks. Anyway, old, right? We never become old in devotional service because we have so much to look forward to. We look forward to join Krishna in his pastimes. We look forward to endless varieties of transcendental activities. It's a great adventure. Oh no, our life is not over. Oh no, it's just beginning. All this so far was just a preparation. The real thing is going to start soon. So much to look forward to. So this is the nature of pure devotional service. And that is our meditation. That is what it's all about. That is what Prabhupada came to give. That is what this movement is. That is what Namahata means. Marketplace of the holy name is about pure devotional service. That's why we're taking Krishna Prasad, for the sake of pure devotional service. That is why we do anything in this movement for the sake of pure devotional service. So this is the week dedicated to pure devotional service, because Radhastami is now approaching. So we can already begin and start thinking about pure devotional service and think how we can become the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of Srimati Radharani. Let us become the servant of Srila Prabhupada, who is the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of Srimati Radharani. And in this way, let us try to please Krishna, and then see what's going to happen. It's okay. There's a movie camera right there. It's like, he's not live streaming now. That's already a relief. Any questions or comments? All right, then, no questions, no problem. I'll drink some water. And are we going to do Guru Puja at the end, or is that what you usually do? That's what Mahatas usually do, isn't it? on today is the birthday of...
So a few weeks back we were speaking to Vibhu Chaitanya Prabhu to try and facilitate you coming to Nadi Namahata.
Oh.
And he mentioned that Nadi Namahata should build a relationship with you.
Oh.
So in that note, we want to welcome you to Nadi Namahata, and we hope that you'd cut it, and more than that,
turn
we'd
this
like
into
to
a birthday. And I'll come again and again every year on this day. This is North Dean Day. Yes, I got it. So, may he never take birth again. Okay, I'll cut it. And I don't know. You have to feed somebody. It's not me. But who in the North Dean Namahata loves cake the most?
Rupa.
Kesha. Rupa. Kesha. Who?
Rupa.
No.
Keshav and Rupa. Okay. Keshav, we're going to do this experiment. Oops. Can you eat this piece of cake in one bite? I think you can, but you have to open your mouth very wide. Take a deep breath. Almost a little more practice, Keshav. And who is Rupa?
Yeah, that's no problem for you.
Rupa's mouth is, let's say, he's well equipped. I'll catch the crumbs. Now you have to face, turn. Got your back to the audience. A little more this way. Yep. Now we have to move that. Yep. That's it. Okay, Rupa. If you laugh, the cake's going to go all over you. And we really can't have that. Right? So this is a serious matter. Take a deep breath. Open wide. Now, Keshav, you saw that? Practice makes perfect.
You want to have another piece?
You're good. That's all right. That water is done.
Well done. I'm impressed. It may come out of his ears. I hope you'll be all right.
Take more water, man.
Take a bit more water, I think. Well, I appreciated that cake a lot. Thank you very much.
Really?
You also.